Hi, this is Richard from the Bucket List Recording Studio. Today's session is a bit of an impromptu thing, and it's about the magic glue that we used in the first video. And this is going to be the first of our awards for the Dogs B product range. We've had quite a few comments about this magic glue that we used to bond the drywalling together. As said in our earlier video, we spent a year researching and checking out all kinds of products, and this was one we did quite a lot of research on. Forums and YouTube channels narrowed our choice down to 4: Green Glue, Quiet Glue Pro, Mass Loaded Vinyl, and Robert's Carpet Glue. The Green Glue and the Quiet Glue Pro we got quite easily. The Mass Loaded Vinyl, due to COVID hitting, took a little bit more time. Mass Loaded Vinyl is a vinyl that's impregnated with metal, and although this did have a glue back, it's a 4mm thick vinyl we used. The one we had trouble with, and we tried everywhere to get it in the UK, was the Robert's Carpet Glue. Although we only had 3 products now to test, we made 4 boxes to test them in. The boxes consisted of a wood frame. The wood frame was clad in 2 layers of drywall, or as we call it, plasterboard. These layers were 15mm thick. The boxes we used had the dimensions of 1200mm by 1200mm by 1200mm. This was not for any sound technical reason, it was purely so we could recycle it to use it for auxiliary soundproofing in our reception area. The reason we used the 4 boxes instead of the 3 when we only got 3 products was I was still a bit sceptical whether any of these products actually added to the soundproofing. So I wanted to test one out without any glue or mass loaded vinyl in it. At this point, I think it's a good idea to give you some backstory about me and how this whole thing came together. I retired 18 months ago, and prior to that I owned a brewery and also a bar in the city centre of Nottingham. The reason I've brought this in is the guy who came to help us was a very good customer. His name was Pete, and Pete was a health and safety engineer, and the good thing is that Pete had a class 1 decibel meter. Now when Pete came round and we started to set this thing up, we hit a bit of a problem there. His decibel meter was very accurate and very sensitive, and the problem was we were picking up external noises because at this point we didn't have a studio, all we had was a brick built room. We got around this problem because the brewery owned a movable walk-in chiller, and we managed to strip down the chiller and rebuild it in the brick built building that the brewery was going to be built in. This gave us a room within a room and made it possible for us to use the decibel recorder. Inside the box was a 30-watt guitar amp. The box was sealed with a mass-loaded vinyl membrane in between the top of the box and the box itself, which gave a pretty good seal. I used a pink noise generator to send the signal into the guitar amp. This gave us a full range octave wise. We didn't really need a decibel meter to tell the difference with the box that had no glue or mass loaded vinyl in. There was quite a vast difference. The other 3 took a little bit more accurate readings so that we could find a winner, and there was only a little bit in it, but the one that seemed to prevent the noise more than the other 2 was the Quiet Glue Pro. Next to that was the green glue, and the one slightly behind was the mass loaded vinyl. At this point we were all ready to order a shed load of Quiet Glue Pro, and then fate lended a hand. We were getting some advice off a chap who was going to put the floating floor in for us, and he mentioned that he'd use Robert's carpet glue. He also mentioned that there's a company, a UK company called Ball, that did a glue identical if not better called F3. In the box where we had no glue or no mass loaded vinyl, we stripped it down, coated it with the F3 from Ball, and then we did all the tests again. They were very subtle, the differences, and it took about 3 tests before we got something that we were happy with, and the F3 came out on top. We passed this information on to people who are helping us on forums and various YouTube people who are helping us, and one thing we got back as feedback was try the tests 3 or 4 months after the original one, because in some of these cases the glue hardens and does not work as good or less efficiently. We did this 3 months after we did the first test. We completed all 4 tests, and again the Ball F3 came out on top. It gives me great pleasure to give the first Dogsby Award to Ball F3 for Magic Glue.